everyone, I'm Paweł Gajda from Carbon Studio. We've developed an upcoming PlayStation VR game called The Wizards, and we'll be on the GT VR developer report to discuss the development process and what you may expect from the PlayStation VR version. So see you guys there.
Sweet. So what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the GTVR Developer Report. And a big thank you to all those who've been supporting the show with all the likes, comments and shares. For all those who are new to the show, this is all about bringing you closer to VR developers and their work, and exploring a little bit of their history within the gaming industry, and some Q&A with our live studio audience of VR enthusiasts and YouTube creators inside virtual reality, thanks to Rec Room. So please welcome today Paul Gajda and Jacob Panda from Carbon Studios. Hey.
Yay!
That's it. They've kindly joined us today to talk about all things VR, and more importantly, their upcoming game, The Wizards, that is coming to PlayStation VR. So how are you guys today? You all good?
Yeah, we're all good.
I'm good.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, you happy with the wizard hats? You happy with the cauldron?
Yeah, everything's awesome.
Man, it's awesome.
Spot on.
It's just like in the game. It's awesome work, really.
Oh, fantastic! And thank you very much for joining us once again. It's really appreciate it. So,
thank you for the invitation.
Oh, superb, man, superb. So, could you please give us a little bit of history about your history in gaming VR development and stuff, if that's okay?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, so
I guess you can start better.
Yeah, so basically, Carbon Studio is a company that's been that was founded back in 2015 by 3 people, and these were former members of the bigger development studio, and then they heard about the Kickstarter of Oculus Rift, and then decided that they want to start their own company, and from the day one focus on VR. So when they started, it was before we even got DK1, or maybe soon after they got DK1, and then the team started to grow, and right now it's more than 20 people.
Wow.
And we have released 3 VR exclusive titles. No, one it's not exclusive, but 3 VR titles.
Yeah.
And right now we are getting ready for the first title release on PlayStation VR, and yeah, so this is how things started and how we get to the moment we're here right now.
Yeah, fantastic. So why did you choose VR as a gaming development?
You know that I believe that everyone in this room and everyone that's watching, or most of these people, will have their own answer to this question, and it's for us, or at least for me, it's about taking part in something that's going to change our lives, the world we live in. And this is the first major like something new coming to gaming in like last 20 years, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, gradually stuff was only improving. All the genres we know, or the types of games, or the types of gameplay, you know what to expect. And then someone says that you'll be able to break the monitor, the TV, and get inside the game.
Inside it, yeah.
And this sounds like something that's so cool that you just want to be part of this revolution. That's that simple.
Yeah. What about you, Jacob? How did you feel about VR?
Well, from the first moment I get into Carbon Studio, I was really excited for it, because it's completely something new, other than everyone else does and plays, because you just feel it in your hands, like literally. You can become anyone, play anything, and to create those experiences and see how people react to them and how they are having fun is just amazing. So being able to be in VR and have fun even more than on the flat screen, it's really great.
I think that's the same thing for most people. For me personally, that I've always been a fan of gaming, always, but there was a point where I think I was slightly losing interest, and there was something not it wasn't really exciting me as much as it used to. When I was a kid, I used to be so excited to get the new Nintendo games, get the new Mario, and then I tried virtual reality, and I was like, this is it. This is what I was waiting for.
And everyone finds something different for them in VR. They can play adventure and action games. They can try social applications or have fun in Rec Room, for example. There's so many things to do. It's just amazing.
Absolutely, and you touched on like other like utilities, basically maybe safety training in virtual reality. Google Earth in virtual reality is fantastic. I was like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's good.
So I actually attended like the whole course of Spanish in VR using Facebook Spaces. By the way,
nice.
Facebook Spaces is amazing, and it's on right now. It's on Steam, and it's definitely for Vive and Oculus Rift. It's not for PSVR yet, and it definitely should be, because this is very, very well done communicator. Very, very well done. It's better, in my opinion, than the big screen or the other one that we use right now. For instance, things they have there, it's this like they analyze the movement of your arms to try to figure out, the AI tries to figure out what should be your face expression. So, and they also analyze your voice. So if you say something like "really," then you will have like this amazed or surprised expression. And eyes tracking, stuff like that. It's similar to Rec Room, but it's superb, I'd say. So I was attending like for a couple of weeks. There was a course with native Spanish teacher, native speaking Spanish teacher, and man, that was an amazing. Like, I remember it like being there, not like watching it on the screen. So we are here right now. I'm with you guys. How crazy is that, right?
It's amazing. It's amazing technology.
Yeah. I would say the virtual reality does that. It does feel like you create memories over when you're normally gaming. That is true. I found that. So, fantastic, guys. So, how would you describe the Wizards to someone who's never seen the game before? How would you...
So basically the Wizards is a spellcasting action adventure game in which you take a role of an apprentice of a powerful mage, and you help him out to defeat evil forces that are trying to invade the realm of Meliora. And through your journey, you learn new spells, become more powerful, overcome more obstacles, and defeat enemies to restore the peace in the kingdom. And the main thing as a wizard is obviously the spellcasting aspect, and we approached it so that you really feel like you're making the magic and spellcasting. So you need to do a specific gesture in order to summon a certain spell, and each spell has a different gesture to perform. So, for example, the most iconic and basic spell, a fireball, you need to twist your wrist and you're ready to throw it at the enemy. But some spells need both of your arms. So, for example, lightning, you can charge it in your hands and thrust them forward like you're a Sith Lord, and you can just electrocute your enemies. So we really did put a lot of effort in those spells, and it really paid off because people really are excited when they figure the spell out, because you need some practice to perform it. There's no like just press a button and it's ready. You need to use your hands, learn your spells and put your heart into it.
Awesome.
Yes.
I like the sound of the fireball. It's like a Hadouken. I love it.
Yeah, you can actually punch enemies with your fireball when you run into them. So you can throw it, but you can also like punch enemies.
Juggle from hand to hand, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so
cool.
The most interesting thing is that there's like no pop-up menus, nothing like that. You have 6 gestures, or probably even 7 gestures, and you have different gesture to conjure a spell, and then different gesture or movement to use that spells, and each of them is different, unique. And so you become a master wizard not by adding points that you earned to like make the spells more like precise or more powerful, you can actually do it. But you become a master wizard by like learning this like muscles memory of repeating these gestures perfectly. So you conjure the spells and then you hit the enemies.
And the more you play, the better you get at the game. And we even see it on our testers or the people who play it. Like for the first time, they're a bit struggling a bit, but they get the hang of it, and they're so excited when they finally get the fireball right every time. It's really, really nice.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. So before I hand you over to our amazing content creators across the room, any pro features for this now it's coming to PlayStation? Any particular pro features?
Oh, yeah, they are pro features. You heard about it, Jacob? Maybe you know better because you work with the...
you can start. Yeah.
I know that the resolution percentage and that anti-aliasing settings, they are better, the quality is better on the Pro. So this is what I'm known. This is something that's definitely different. So the game looks a little bit more sharper when you run it on the Pro. This is what I know.
Superb. Right, so I'm going to hand it over to you guys. So...
Yeah, I like Dave Ticket.
Oh, is this working?
Of course it is. Yeah, you'll not hear it, Dave.
Excellent. Thank you, Davestation.
So I was reading a little bit about the game on Steam, and I'm curious about the Fate cards and how those work, because I sort of get the idea that they adjust the the playthrough and they add replayability, but how exactly does that system work? It seems pretty interesting.
Okay, so the Fate cards, which you can find on the levels, adjust the difficulty and the score of the game. So, for example, if someone struggles with a particular level, he can choose a Fate card that makes the enemies a bit weaker, so he can adjust the level for himself. But also, we implement a leaderboard system and scores. So there's a group of people who really enjoy earning high scores. So there's also cards that increase the difficulty. For example, the health of the enemies, or their speed, or even reduce our own health by a percentage. Or even if you want a really challenging run, it's reduced to 1 hit. So 1 hit and you're dead. Yeah. But it's built so that people can both find additional challenge and ramp their score, and for other people who just want to enjoy the story and the mechanics also.
I like that because it reminds me of, I like how Beat Saber's leaderboards have all those modifiers you can put in to make the song faster or remove the arrows or whatever, and that affects your score on the scoreboards, but also
and that came later in the patch.
Your own personal enjoyment of it. That's really cool. All right.
Thank you, Davestation. Cheers.
Oh, how do I get rid of it?
Dave,
just drop it.
That's it. Drop the mic.
That's the way we
mic
do
drop.
That is the way we do it.
Okay. Hi. Like the game as well. I've obviously played it on the Oculus side. Looking forward to seeing what you come up with the PC. One of the things you've actually touched on is the hand gestures. I really like those, and it does feel, like you said, quite natural to get fireballs and whatever else off. But what I was wondering was, how did you go about the process of actually choosing how you'd form those gestures? You know, were you like in front of mirrors? Did you have a little committee? Did you have a fake in the office battle where you kind of went,
Actually, well, it was really interesting process because at the beginning we were trying to figure out what spells we want to have in the game, because we wanted to have spells, but to have them from different elements like storm, fire, and stuff like that, and we figured what would be good to do in VR and what could fit as a spell. So the fireball was the obvious thing to do, and we thought, okay, but how do you throw a fireball in not in games, because most games you just click on it with your mouse or a pad and it goes there. So we rather look to
that
movies.
Flick is very kind of satisfying when you get the idea of, okay, I've got my fireball out and I know how to flick it now, right, so that it aims in the right place. It's very, very satisfying.
Yeah, so we figured that you need to throw it, and basically you throw like from here or with your left hand. So we wanted to to summon the fireball, so you end up in this location. So the flick of your wrist was like the natural thing to do. And with other spells, we went the same way. We have a frost bow in the game, so when you have a bow in your hands, you need to draw the arrow and pull the string and shoot. So you wanted to, so you draw the bow in front of you, and when it materializes, you're ready to shoot. So yeah, that's we figured out what spell we wanted in the game, and then how you conjure it up, and you're ready to use it in according way to the spell's mechanics and how it feels in the game.
It's Paul from the VR realm. My question's around a very particular movement system. Now, I've had the 3D rudder on the PC for 10 months. I've got a lot of experience with the PC version. The Wizard isn't listed as supported on the PC version. So I'm just wondering what sort of... I mean, speak to the devs as well, so I understand that it's down to the team who make the game to manage the SDK on the PC VR, or the PlayStation VR. So I'm just wondering, like, the process behind getting that sorted. Was that an easy thing to do? Is that something that you're still working on?
Yeah, so basically with 3D Rudder, it was a funny situation because we first implemented the support for 3D Rudder on Steam, and then there was a guys who approached us on Gamescom, where we've been showcasing the Wizard on PlayStation VR for the first time, and it was a BizDev person from 3D Rudder team, and he said that he loves the game, he would like to send us a dev kit, and he was not aware about the fact that we already implemented 3D Rudder support in the past. And they sent us a dev kit of PlayStation version of the 3D Rudder, and the implementation process, it was rather simple. It was like, I would say, one full day work of one person, plus then some additional adjusting after we sent the build. So the 3D Rudder team, they tested it, and they give their feedback, like stuff like, like sensitivity, the angles, what does what, stuff like that. But it was really simple. But maybe some of you wonder whether it would be possible to, let's say, from the 3D Rudder side, support the games that are not officially supported. It is doable on Steam, but it's not doable on PlayStation VR. Yeah. So unless Bethesda, let's say, decide to spend this time on implementing it, it will not work. And also keep in mind that with PlayStation, there's some like additional certification process. I believe that also with the patches.
It depends what you put inside of the patch, but usually if it's small fixes, it's okay. But with the 3D Rudder, I guess they'll have to have some kind of certification done.
No, so with these big teams like of 1,000 people, the decision process is very long. So I've been told that it's definitely possible that 3D Rudder will support games like Skyrim or Doom, but first they have to release it. They have to see that the Bethesda have to see that it works and people want to use it, and then probably add the support.
Okay. Yeah, which obviously a bit easier with PC because it's just a team at 3D Rudder build the SDKs there for the PC, don't they? Or work with the SDKs, where with this you've got to push that yourself on the PSVR. So I'll pass it on.
Yeah, man. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Sure, mate. So I take it with the 3D Rudder, Paul and Jacob, I take it that is just a case of button mapping, and then the sensitivity is something else on top of that when it comes to the 3D Rudder.
Yeah, there's some cases in which the strafing needs to be implemented also, some rotations and the speed. Yeah, it's not complicated too much, but there's a lot of adjusting so it feels right and follows guidelines that they decided to implement in most of the games, so that most of the experience are very similar, because you play the 3D Rudder in one game and you want to use it the same way in another game. So they need to have it like very concise.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I mean,
it's also nice because it's this
change in every game or anything.
Yeah, exactly. And also they ask us to add the settings for the, let's say, speed movement with 3D Rudder. Yeah. So we also had to add it.
Nice. You're up, Taz.
Hello, I'm Taz from Taznic Gaming, coming from New Zealand. represent the New Zealand audience. So we're a long way away. So I've just got a question. Can you revisit the previous levels or areas, whatever you class them as, of the game? And do enemies actually respawn in that for the replayability side of things?
Yeah, you can access every stage after you complete it from the main hub. And you can play it, when you finish the game, you can play any level you want in any order with different combinations of spell upgrades and fate cards. So the replayability is all in there.
Yeah, so also there are spells upgrades, and you have to spend points, like shards, we call it shards, like red crystals on these upgrades. But to get the crystals, you have to finish the stages with very good results. So possibly there's like a replayability cycle. So you finish one level of the game, but you got like a low score because you got hit, because you did not kill the enemies. Of course, you killed all of them, but let's say you got lost too much health point. And then you can go on the different level, you find a fate card that can boost your score, just like the score multiplayer. So you go back to that level, you use the fate card to get better score multiplayer. The game is a bit harder, but you manage to finish you get new crystals, you spend them on the upgrades for the spells, and these upgrades are powerful enough to let you go back to the same or different level and get even better score, and get the remaining crystal that you did not have not received already. Mm-hmm. So this is like our idea for the replayability.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds really good. I presume what you're saying about the crystal-y things, is that like on the video when you watch that back, is that or shards should I say, are they the silver and the red shards that you spin around with your hand and collect it look like or something? Is that what that's all about?
No, that was, I believe, the arcane missile, like a spell circle of crystals, and you need to touch each crystal to send them flying. They're like homing missiles, and each crystal seeks a new target and hits them. So this is a spell, not the collectibles that Paul was referring to.
Okay, right, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that.
Thank you. One more thing about this crystal system, things I forgot, is that you get 3 crystals depending on the score, and 1 crystal that's combined of 3 parts of the crystal hidden on the level, and they are really hidden. It's not easy to find them. Mm-hmm. So if you try to look for hidden paths, then you can find the missing parts of the crystal, the shards of the crystal, to get the one more crystal. So we can also check whether you found all the secrets on the level.
Oh, like the Tomb Raider effect. Awesome.
Sounds good, mate. I was thinking of Sonic the Hedgehog, actually. Talking about crystals.
Yeah, the crystals. Yeah.
Thank you, Taz.
I'll pass you on.
Oh, nice. Good catch,
man.
My name is LSB, and I just had a question. It's not really game related or whatever, but I figure this game's called The Wizards, right?
Yes,
you got all these wizards, you got all this inspiration to draw from, books, games, movies, television, just tons of media. What's your favorite wizard?
Oh boy,
that's a hard one.
I know mine straight away. But...
You can only choose one.
That is a hard one.
For me, it's Gandalf, definitely.
Yeah. Hey, that's it.
Because of the sense of humor. I love the sense of humor of the guy.
Yeah.
I was Dumbledore, since I recently refreshed all the Harry Potter movies and books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for answering my question. Here we go.
No worries.
Sorry for being obvious.
Who else thought Gandalf?
You guys.
I thought Gandalf straight
What's
away.
your favorite?
Greetings, sir. Dobry wieczór.
Dobry wieczór.
Dobry wieczór.
Oh, Sheldon.
I was wondering about any type of competitive gameplay. So, these scores, is there global leaderboards?
Yes, there are, for each level and each arena. We have 3 arenas in the game, and you can like ramp the scores even more because they are like endless gameplay. You need to, each arena has a different objective, and you also fight endless waves of enemies. And the better you do, the better score you get, and of course you're the higher on the leaderboards then. So yeah,
Now,
there's a competitive aspect of the game.
Which is very good. Now, is there any reason for a PlayStation user and a Rift user to buy both copies if they already own it on Rift?
No, actually, I think that there's no reason, but it's a good thing because as I think that Chris mentioned it on PlayStation, this is going to be the Wizards Enhanced Edition, and with this enhancements, what it means is that you guys are going to get extra level, the longest one in the game, some changes like possibility to change the color of the gloves. And also the like life circle, there was like a circle in front of you that was displaying in the health points. Now it's on your, like a glyph on your hand, so it's more immersive, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is that on the very day of the PlayStation VR release of the Wizards Enhanced Edition, all these new features and optimization is coming to Steam and Oculus Store.
Oh, nice.
So if you have the game on Steam, you will not miss anything. So, of course, if you want to play on your couch by your TV on PlayStation, you can buy it, you will enjoy it. But it's not like you're missing something on Steam.
Beautiful.
It's good that PSVR is getting the same treatment as Rift.
Yeah.
For a change.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Shaolin.
I'll pass you on.
Shaolin, let's try this. Let's try this. 1, 2, 3.
No, hey. Shaolin, can I say this? Shaolin does not need any more leaderboards to be at the top of. I'm just saying that.
This guy's name.
Yeah, guys, these people know a lot more about the game than me. I've kind of jumped in and seen the trailer. I really liked the trailer. Loved the feeling and the aspect and how how it came across. And I could tell that before LSB asked this question that you were going to say Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings for the answer for the. But yeah, magic's always amazing, and it's just good to see that there is no longer just a magic missile to be used as a mage's weapon. There's more than one thing. But yeah, I'm really intrigued by how you guys approach the sound design in the game, because the music on the trailer, like I said, is fantastic, and if it continues that feeling, I can see it being really immersive. But just your thoughts on the music and how you've done the sound design in general.
So we've done a lot of iterating on the sound, so because the spells were the most important one to get, so we focused most of the time on the spells, so they sound right. And the music, we've asked our sound composer to come up with some tones, and I believe most of the music that is in the game is by him, but there wasn't really like a big thing how we want to approach the music, because we focus on the spells since this was the main selling point of the game.
But it's great how we're getting more and more innovative ideas that are using different techniques to like control. For example, like we guys have implemented the rudder, and obviously in VR you wouldn't be able to move your hands and do all the move stuff. So it's good to kind of have that as a control system as well. But yeah, no, thanks for answering those questions. I'll pass it back and Sheldon can ask you more questions.
Excellent. I've got a question if that's okay.
Oh yeah,
of course.
When to go?
You could go another round.
So how did you find the process going from PC VR to PlayStation VR, especially in terms of the moves to the controllers?
that was a bit tricky, because we had to figure out how to handle especially the moving without the analog sticks, because on the PlayStation you just have the buttons basically. So we started off with looking at other games, how they did it, and we compared.
Good call.
We compared how Skyrim did it, how Apex Construct did it, and other games because we didn't want to invent the wheel from scratch. We wanted people to know how to move in our game. So
thank you.
So we based it on other games, and we tried to implement the most important things that we thought are essential for a game. So in our game, you can move around freely and teleport at the same time. So we had to take that into account. So you can teleport, move backwards, move forwards, rotate and do all that stuff without looking at the controllers and feel it immersive. So we had to do that right, and I think we did it.
Great stuff.
Yeah, so basically one word answer for the locomotion is Skyrim VR. So it's almost the same. So if you play Skyrim, you'll just like
you'll know how to
feel
play.
It's but I believe we have a little bit more.
People love it.
We heard that. We heard that a lot.
They did good job on that.
But I believe we have more customization than Skyrim. I mean, it's not about comparing, but
also.
I know that in our game, we made sure we even made like a Reddit post and asked the PSVR community on Reddit what should be the options in the game. So the blinders, you can make them lower, you can remove them. The speed of movement, the speed of rotation, snap rotation, smooth rotation, right-handed, left-handed, right-handed bow, left-handed bow, because it's about not only your eye, also about your ear, not about your ear, but about your hand and your ear, your eye, because you can be like left-eyed and right-handed, stuff like that.
I'm right-handed but left eye dominant.
Okay. So in our game, you can choose like different hand for like the
dominant hand.
Things.
Yeah,
and the
you
dominant
can choose to have the dominant hand for interactions and spells. But if, for example, you pick that your right hand is dominant, but you shoot you shoot bow with your right hand also, you can choose to have that both in right hand. So there's a lot of customization for that, both movement and gameplay, because we didn't want to exclude anyone.
That
from
all
having
sounds,
fun.
When it goes from the control scheme to the blinders to the movement, that is fantastic. Like that's what you want. And the fact that you've done what some games have done, and it makes it very difficult, is you didn't try and reinvent what we've got with these move controllers. Unfortunately, they're not great, but they're what we've got. And when you play something like Killing Floor and Skyrim, it does work, and you can get it to it. It is okay, and well done. Thank you. That's really good.
Yeah, and for one thing very important for us is that we don't want to decide for the players, because it's really, personally, it annoys me if the developer of any game thinks that he knows better than me, if I'm going to prefer teleportation, free movement, snap rotation or smooth rotation. So,
and this stuff is very important in VR.
Yeah, exactly, because with flat games, it's just, I don't like third-person games, but I have to get used to like with Red Dead Redemption, you already got like both. But with other games, they developer choose. You have to just live with it. But with VR, if there's only free movement, like 20%, 30% of you will get sick. But if there's only teleportation, the other 70% or 60%, they will feel that they lose something. They lose the immersion. They feel like forced. So in VR, it's about getting sick, about vomiting, about losing this first. Also, one thing I was thinking about, like, what's important for us as devs, and what's amazing about VR and developing for VR is that the responsibility you get. Because for most of the people, they buy the headset, and it's very possible that your game is going to be like the first or the second or the third game in VR they ever played, and they will not be able to fully tell what's VR. What comes from VR as a technology, what comes from the headset, and what comes from the game. So if you fail as a developer, then that means that someone may have a wrong impression about that whole technology.
Yes.
And
yes,
this is very serious responsibility.
It's very important.
Yeah, for all the devs who watch it, guys, think about it and remember it all the time. I think that
I mean, I'm not going to say any names of games, but there was a game I tried, and I literally couldn't walk forward, and I couldn't open a door. And the first thing I needed to do was walk forward and open a door. And I was like,
what now?
It was so weird. Yeah, so anyway, Davestation, over to you, man, over to you.
All right, so this will be a quick one because I'm actually on my lunch break. But anyways, this is a personal question for you guys, and it's a two-part question. Paul, were you having issues with like a fake Paul Gadge or like walking around? And also, second part, how do we know this is the real Jacob?
I'm not sure.
You can tell by the hat.
Yeah.
Okay, but we gave
So-
you that hat.
I'm a true one,
you?
and I promise you, he's a true one too. So yeah, yesterday I launched Rec Room first time for a long time, and it asked me to input my birth date, and
yeah.
I stated that my birthday is birth date is 2019, so I get the junior account. And it's like I cannot do anything about it. So Chris could not invite me to this room because I was a junior, and I lost my account with all my experience, stuff I earned. I lost everything, and I had to start a new account.
This is
So
the
here I am.
real Paul Gadger, everyone.
incredible.
This is the real one.
He's not under 13.
No.
All right. Thanks, guys. Like I said, I gotta go, but this has been great so far. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
on. And
Thank you, Dave.
everybody
Great
else.
questions.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Yeah.
No worries,
Thank you, Dave. Thank
Awesome.
you very much.
See you around.
Nice catch.
nice one.
Yeah.
Got it, got
See you later,
it.
guys.
See you, Dave.
I'm going to jump back on this.
Yeah, he's much more comfy on the sofa.
That's so much more comfy. Yeah. SalsaKetchup from SalsaKetchup VR again. Just for the record, I was going to say Rincewind.
Oh, Discworld.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good shout.
Yeah,
Good shout,
Rincewind.
actually.
Yeah. A lot of people always forget Rincewind, but you can never forget Rincewind.
No,
Okay.
you can't.
No, you can't. My next question is obviously this game is developed along the time, like you said. What's coming to the PlayStation is an enhanced version, which has got new levels, which are also coming to the PC. But the original side on the PC side was more than just it was less than it is now. So you came, I think, from more of a shooter angle first of all, was it?
Yeah.
How was that? How have you grown with the development of the game as well from the original side as spellcasting as a wave shooter to what it is now? Because it's very different to a wave shooter now.
Well, basically, we've asked and heard our fans what they think about the game, and if they like it to go into one of the directions that we introduced. So back then, wave shooters were coming out of. They were not so popular anymore, so we decided that we really need to go somewhere that people will like it, so they'll play it. So we decided to overhaul the movement mechanics and add the free movement and teleportation at the same time. There are a lot of changes to do that, but we launched the game back then in early access. So it was perfect time to experiment and to steer the game in the right direction. And another part is that in game development, the more you spend time on the game, the faster you can do stuff in the game because you know it so well. You know how to change stuff, you know how to add stuff so it works immediately or very quickly. So as the game grows, it's a bit easier to add all this new stuff to it.
Nice.
So that's why we've grown so much.
If I can add something, so we initially released the game on early access, and it was only teleportation and very much focused on the wave shooting aspect of the game. And actually, in 2 days, we got mixed reviews on Steam, about 50% of positive reviews, and we stopped to get any more copies of the game being sold. So it was a very serious situation because, there are a lot of games on early access that have 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 reviews and no updates anymore. These games are dead.
Yeah.
And we've been very close to this moment, very, very close. And then we had to, and a lot of the negative feedback was about the missing free locomotion, missing the sense of exploration, the game being too arcadish and boring because of that. And then we made a decision, okay, so we are going from like 2 or 3 hours long game that's focused on like killing enemies only, to the game that's going to be longer, that's going to be with more exploration, with free movement. We announced it like after 3 days. After the early access, we announced that we are going to redesign a lot of elements of the game to make it more as the players wish. And then we spent, I believe, 6 weeks developing this new content. And I checked it recently. For the 6 weeks, we got close to 0 units sold every day.
Right.
So it was really serious situation.
Yeah.
But happily for us, then we made this like big update and like sent press kits to media, and we started to get a lot of copies and a lot of positive reviews. Now we have 86% positive reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
And the game's been on the top selling Steam VR top selling list for 2 years in a row now.
Wow.
So we managed to like turn the wave, but it was really serious at a certain moment.
Do you feel the game where it is now is where you actually wanted it to be? See what I'm saying? Do you, like when you the original game, was that always the thought of the game, or do you feel now this is what you wanted to make? Where it is now, this is the game that you would have wanted to make in the first place.
So well, you can always make a better game. Games are like art. You don't finish art, you abandon it. So you, at some point, you need to say, okay, it's really good, it's great, and I need to move on. But right now, we're really close to the. Actually, we are at the point that we're really happy with the games, with the enhanced edition and all that stuff. And to look back at the path that we've gone through to get this edition, we're really happy how it turned out and what we've learned along the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna the next steps are gonna be easier, hopefully. If you use a
definitely.
Yeah. Sorry, Salsa.
That's brilliant. I'll hand you over to Ron. Let's see if we can get this ready. 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
nice. Yeah. We're getting there.
Well done.
I've just got another question more about the controls on the move. So we know with the PC VR you've got like a lot of room scale tracking. Was there any issues, difficulties around the tracking with the PlayStation? Obviously because it's a lot of hand movements.
Well, with the PlayStation Move and the way the camera works, the biggest problem was abstracting one of the controllers with the other, or with your head, for example, because you had to reach back behind your back for arrows, for example. So we adjusted some of the gameplay mechanics so they compensate the hardware limitations, let's say, for the PlayStation. But some of those enhancements actually turned out to make the game really great. And sometimes after we play long sessions for PlayStation, when we turn to the unupdated version of Wizards, it's really almost a different experience because of the controllers. But we try to not find it as an obstacle, the controllers, but as a new opportunity to try how we can improve the game even further. So we've tweaked a lot our auto-aim system in the game, because in VR, throwing, like in real life, is really difficult to get it right, and we want people to have fun, not just to get frustrated that they can hit the target. So we tweaked it a bit, and also we added additional adjustments, so you can have it turned off, the auto aim, if you really want to nail those throws. But if you feel like you just want to throw it in general direction to the enemy, it will hit him. And since the PlayStation camera is only one and it tracks the headset, we use the headset as some sort of crosshair. So basically, most of the spells will try to navigate towards where you look at.
Nice.
So we really try to get the controls right to supplement the both move controllers and the PlayStation camera.
I love the way you saw it as a test, as a studio, to overcome it. you were like, no, we need to make this work, and that's really cool.
Yeah. Because we know it's possible to make a game for PlayStation. There are so many great games, so we'll do another one.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's really good. You find a lot of some of the devs that ported over don't really take into account for the hardware, that the changes of the room scale and things. So it's great that you've took that into account and made those alterations there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the room scale in some games, it's difficult to pick up objects that are too far away from you or on the ground. And since you're a wizard, in our game you can pull objects to you with telekinesis. So that's problem solved.
Awesome.
Speaking about the limitations or challenges coming from the PlayStation VR development, it's not a secret that PlayStation or Sony, they are much more strict when it comes to the certification process.
Q&A,
on Steam, it's just like whatever you develop, you're almost always free to release it. And on PlayStation, it's much more strict. And again, this is something that we believe helped the game, because one thing they ask us for to change is that you have to be able to save the game after every 5, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's a period of time that the game needs to save on the disc. So we have to implement. We wanted to implement not only that it's safe on the disc, but the players can then load the save. So we implement the checkpoint system in the game, because before that, after you lost a stage, you need to do it from the beginning. Some of the levels were not that long, so it wasn't a big deal, but frantic boss fights or one of the longest levels could get in the way, so the checkpoints will really help for that. So there also come some nice features from the certification process with PlayStation.
And people on Steam actually complained about spending 25 minutes, then dying and having to start from scratch again the same level. So these requirements from Sony, it's just like they care for the players, and they make sure that the players get stuff that is fully playable. So we had to make some changes that will make the game more well designed,
more player
accessible.
friendly,
and it all is coming to Steam too. So this is one of the benefits.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Awesome. Hey, it's Taz again from New Zealand. Now, I've got a question on the battling side of things. You mentioned there's bosses, which is awesome. I love boss fights. Not very good at them. What I want to know is, how you got your gestures that you use. I've seen gameplay that has spear, like you mentioned, a crossbow, things like that. I want to know that, for me, that's not very good, and you go and attack a boss, is there either cooldown periods for using the spell, so they might conjure up a fireball and throw it, for instance, or go straight into it with a Hadouken or something. I want to know, can I use a spear or even a crossbow or something like that with one hand, as well as a fireball or something to attack an enemy? You know what I mean? Integrate both things at once.
So with the two-handed spells, you can only use one two-handed spell at the same time. But the fireball and the arcane shield, you can use it both at the same time. So you can protect yourself with your offhand, and with the main hand you can throw fireballs. We didn't implement a mana system or cooldowns. We let's say we got some
time on the what you call it?
Yeah, this is the only thing that has a soft, let's say, soft cooldown.
Pyroblast?
The arcane bullets recharge when you kill enemies. So the faster you kill enemies, the faster the spell loads. Okay. Because when you could conjure up the full spell and then another one and another one, it really became spammy. You could just spam this one spell, and it wasn't fun. And we wanted players to have fun from the game and try different approaches to the game. So some spells you need to charge them, like lightning and pyroblast. But the faster you get the gestures, the faster you basically can throw them around.
Fantastic.
Right, yeah, because that's ideal for boss fights. I saw the lightning as well. That looks mean. That does. Really like the look of that. No, that's awesome. Is there a very varied amount of enemies in there. I've seen like the dragons, which obviously comes from the Skyrim element, I guess. I don't suppose there's any orcs or anything like that, is there in it, or anything like that?
Well, we've got trolls, goblins, orcs, wraiths, dragons. Wraiths, and also
the big one,
snake golems,
serpents.
Yeah, snake,
snakes,
like golem serpents.
Sounds amazing.
I hate wraiths.
Yeah, so there's a few enemies in the game.
Thank you, Taz.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks very much. Don't want to hold anyone up. Cheers, thank you.
I just had another question about is there going to be a demo for this game, like available on the PlayStation Store? Because I would really like to get my hands on it as soon as possible to try it out.
Cool. So not on the release date, but we have a plan to add it like in, let's say, first month or two, just as a new announcement, because we can then like reach to media again with something new about the game.
Yeah.
So we do consider adding it after the release.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to have to wait until after the release. And as far as the release date goes, what is the release date?
Oh, it's February 2019. Wow. So next month.
Next month.
Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah.
While we're on that
Not
subject,
a particular date yet.
Is there a physical release for this game, or?
Yeah, we actually have a publisher that's going to release it, the box edition, but it's not going to be the same date. It's going to be a little bit later. So maybe you can buy the game in the box, and
there you
if
go.
You like it, sell it.
This guy's selling. He's selling his soul there.
Do you have a question?
I like that.
Dziękuję.
Nie ma za co.
Dziękuję.
Do widzenia!
Not yet.
Someone's been Googling.
I thought we were done.
Someone's been busy Googling.
That's why I asked if he had another question. I was just going to actually ask I have a development question for obviously Paul and Jacob there. Do you guys feel that your studio has been an advantage being a smaller team rather than a larger scale?
Yeah, definitely. Because with fewer people, you can get you can change stuff faster. Because it's not reliable on whole teams that already are working on an asset or part of a game, and then when it turns out that it's not going the way you want, or in the like while testing, it turns out that it's not exactly what the game will benefit from. Their whole work from like 10 people goes away, and with small team we can iterate very fast and throw ideas very quickly. So I would say that it's advantageous for us.
Yeah,
and our team is really it's like a family, so we all get together and we can throw ideas around and see what works.
That's great to hear that, because obviously as well it's good to hear that your idea has been diluted by having too many people working on it and it getting changed, and it's good that the idea fully is there and no one's trying to change it.
Yeah.
Without you guys know anyway. It's fantastic. It looks amazing, and I can't wait to put it and try it and do all this crazy magic spell stuff.
So how excited are you to bring your game to PlayStation? Because I mean, I'd imagine being a fan of gaming, it must be pretty exciting to put something on a PlayStation. It would be for me, for example.
Oh yeah, jeez, definitely.
It's very exciting. Like the first game, and it's our best game. So we're looking forward to it and excited how it will go and how other projects will benefit also from it. So since it will be easier for our future releases on PlayStation also.
Our install base has hit, is it 90 million PS4 sold now?
I think so, already. Yeah,
there's a lot of that also.
That's crazy. It is, and there's
and
so
the
many
box
more
edition.
so
soon we will be able to you go to the store and you see your game
that's
on the
our
shelf.
game.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I'm very excited for you guys. I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
What I was going to say, is there anything else you're currently working on as a studio?
Well, there's some prototypes, but we cannot share anything yet.
Don't tell
You gotta ask, man. You gotta ask. Excellent, guys.
Yeah, and the PlayStation VR is not going to be the last platform for the Wizards.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is all we can.
Yeah.
So we work on this IP and a new IP simultaneously.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean, you got the Oculus Quest coming out. You got the Cosmo.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in VR now.
Yeah, it's all moving forward, man. Like the HTC Vive, I think supports eye tracking. Is that right, Salsa?
Okay. Go on.
Yeah, obviously the HTC Vive has got the eye tracking, and it's not the only headset with the eye tracking, but that's at the moment for a more non-consumer facing. But as the graphics and all the other stuff goes up with these headsets, so too does the reliance on hardware for graphics, and we're already pushing the boundaries for what the hardware can cope with. And what the eye tracking will bring is that part that you're actually looking at can be super high res.
Yeah.
With all the compute power focused there, and then the bits that you don't actually see, that bit to the side of your head can actually be low res.
Yeah, which is kind of like how you would see stuff in the human eye. Obviously not as clear cut as HD and low res, but where you look is where the information is, and then around here is,
It is literally how you look, because you will not notice outside of that 20-degree retina in the middle.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a secondary part of your field of view, and then you've got a third part that's even lower.
Yeah.
And if you've got that step down, it's great. But what impact do you think that height in resolution can bring to you with less demand on the PCs or the processing?
Well, the first thing that will improve is obviously the graphics and effects and all the stuff that for now the VR is a bit behind compared to the to traditional PC and console games. But right now, I think even now, the VR games and are based on the immersion and all that. So you don't need fancy graphics to have fun in VR. But when the time comes with the technology and the graphics, be completely bonkers.
It's all about cost, isn't it? That's the problem, because unless people try VR, they see potentially just an expensive bit of equipment that and that's why we need to get people those
gameplay first.
We need to get the demo units out there. They need demo units. That's what that's what we need.
This is one of the other things with the Quest that's going to be great for people to come along to without the additional.
Yeah, that's another big step.
Yeah, Quest is this headset has a lot of features that make it put on the headset and play experience.
Yeah.
So this is mobile based, and of course this is the disadvantage because the performance is worse. But this is also the advantage because you don't have to turn it off at all. So you play, let's say, super hot, and then you decide that you're done for today. So you just put off the headset. You don't turn it off. You put it on the shelf. Next day you come back. You put the headset on, and you're back in the game. Literally, 1 second, you're back in the game. You don't have to boot the PC at all. Better thing, you go to your parents' place or your girlfriend's place. You just put the headset into the bag. You go to their place. You put it from the back, and this headset recognizes their room because you've been there before. It recognizes it, gives you new security boundaries, the guardian system, and you're back in the game.
Wow.
And for me, this is huge because I really struggle with the wire and with the Steam updates, the GPU drivers updates, Windows 10 updates. You guys have less on PlayStation, but still there's some.
Tons
So
of
Quest is going to be huge. And I think that Quest is going to bring more people to VR and to PlayStation VR, probably the second edition, because the first one, the PlayStation, the first gen of PlayStation VR, is going to be too similar to Quest, because even of the missing features like eye tracking, not being inside out tracked by having this move
tracking system, stuff like that. But with the second generation, people who already got Quests and PlayStation 5, they will buy PlayStation VR 2 just so they can play not only Beat Saber and Superhot in VR on the Quest, but also the new Bethesda game, the new Elder Scrolls game. I hope it's going to be VR. Compatible.
Definitely.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. I just had one more question. You were talking about PSVR 5, PS5, PSVR 2. Now, is that confirmation that you know that it exists?
I thought the same thing.
No comment. Say no comment.
Oh my god.
I know you probably can't talk about it. But the way that you talk about it, the excitement in your voice, it definitely rings true like to what the rest of us are thinking is that the PS5 and the PSVR 2 are reality.
You've got one now.
You shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. Sorry, I'm just busting your chops. Thank you for
It was a good call. Yeah.
He's joking. He's joking.
Yeah. Well,
awesome, guys.
Thank you ever so much for being here, guys. Thank you for all those great questions. That was absolutely fantastic. And thank you to Paul and Jacob for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, guys. Now I believe it's time for the picture.
For the photo.
We need the photo. So that's it from me, and a thank you to everyone on the show. Thank you again to the guests, and I hope you tune in next week for another episode of the GTVR Developer Report. Thanks for your time. This is my better side as well, so that's really good. Thank you.
Are you happy with your hat, GT? Do you want me to adjust it?
Well, I don't know. It's up to you.
You've basically glitched it on the back of your head, but it's up to you. Like,
no, man, you make me look like the wizard. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Jacob, can you fix it for me?
Yeah,
done.
It's fixed.
Yeah, you cool?
It's okay.
Oh, wait a minute, actually.
Yeah.
My height's terrible.
You two are having really good fun.
Turn around, face down.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's because your hair's really spiky.
Is my makeup okay? Are we good to go?
That'll do me.
Where's my hat gone?
I messed it up right now.
Where's my hat?
Wait a minute, wait.
Where's it gone?
Turn around.
It's still out there. You just can't see it. It's there.
I'm trying to fix it so your hair's coming through regardless.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Is that better, guys? That's better.
Yeah, it's better. It's much better.
That's rock and roll. That's what that is. Right. Stop. We can do it pretty quick. Oh,
remember, if you're looking for space, remember you can go up. You can fly a little bit. Remember, if you're all trying to get some space.
Yeah. I'll make sure they can fly in a wee minute.
Oh, am I the only one who can fly?
I can.
Sorry, boys. I'll see you later.
Wait, give us a second. What's it? That guy, he wants to fly.
Let's pick that up.
Who touched it?
Who's that?
What is that?
Taz.